Coach.
Hi, how are you?
Brad Muller.
Hi, Brad.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Did I read right that you live in New Canaan?
Yes.
I lived there for a few years before I moved down here. Yeah, I'm originally from Stanford, so.
I love it. You spend your whole life trying to get out and the rest of your life trying to get back in.
Yeah. Are we ready? Okay. All right, first day is a courtesy to your fellow media members as well as the coaches and student athletes. Please silence your cell phones if you haven't already. In fact, I'm sure I've done that. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. If you are joining in on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and then get to Zoom if time allows. Recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. No flash photography is permitted during the press conference as well. Open locker rooms do return this year. Locker rooms are open for 30 minutes during the team's practice day press conference, as well as 30 minutes following the end of the cooling off period after games. Cooling off periods will be 10 minutes for the winning team and 20 for the losing team, and start when the head coach enters the locker room. This year we also welcome back Hammond Communications for help coordinating these press conferences here in Columbia. Hammond is the only outlet permitted to shoot press conferences all week. Hammond workers Kyle and Chris are here in the back of the room and will coordinate distribution of audio and video files to all interested media members. Additionally, ASCP Sports Transcripts will be providing free transcript services for all press conferences. Okay, first we'd like to introduce from Sacred Heart, Coach Jessica Minetti. She's in her 11th season. The Pioneers are 24-9, and they won the Northeast Conference tournament for the second straight NEC championship. They're joined by graduate student guard Sajeda Bonner and sophomore guard Nysira Pryor. And we will start, we'll take questions from the media in the room first, and then we'll take questions from the Zoom before the party is dismissed or the press conference has ended. We'll start with a opening statement from Coach, and then we'll have questions directed for the players, and then come back to Coach. So Coach, Jessica Minetti.
Hello. Very excited to be here. Our team is coming off of a very quick turnaround, having won yesterday at noon, and then hopped on a plane at 3 p.m., actually 2 days ago. Hopped on a plane yesterday, and down here now in South Carolina. We're super excited to be here. This is a historic place. This is going to be a really exciting tournament this year. There are amazing women's basketball teams throughout the country. We're very proud to be representing the mid-major level, a level that's been receiving so much more love, and we're really proud to represent our community, our fans, and everybody who's come along with us on this journey.
All right, thank you, Coach. Questions for the student athletes to begin. Joe?
I'll start with Sajeda. I guess, looking at the team schedule, winners of 9 of the last 20, 15 straight coming into this weekend, what's kind of been the team's secret sauce to finding the success to end the season so strong?
I would just say, we're a big family, so when we finally came together and connected with the new pieces, because a lot of people returned from last year, but the new pieces are always really important. When we finally were able to connect and start conference, we hit the ground running, and I think we always talk about a Sacred Heart as a special place because we're very big on family here, and once we were able to just connect, play hard together, we were able to get those wins in a row and, hopefully continue.
Nice, Sarah. First off, welcome to Columbia. Just wanted to ask you, from a scoring standpoint, this year, probably your best season offensively. Just what do you think has contributed to that for you this year? And just overall, for you, how's the year been from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, to piggyback off of what you said, my scoring this year has elevated. Coming off a season like last year, I wanted to continue that, and I think that's exactly what I did. I just kind of had more confidence in myself this year, and my teammates and my coaches also had the same amount of confidence they had in me last year. So I just took that and ran with it, and I just continued to score the ball.
Joe?
I'll stay with you, Nysira. I know it's been a really tight turnaround for you guys, but have you been able to look at the matchup and kind of how do you break down Presbyterian, or has it more been looking at just kind of inward at yourselves to get yourselves ready for the tournament?
Yeah, we just had scout prep and things like that. Our coaches did an amazing job with the scout, and we're going to stick to our game plan. We don't want to give too much away, but we just want to play our game, play at our pace, and just do what got us here, and that's the biggest thing for us.
Looking at y'all's resume for Sajeda, this season. Y'all are 20-0 so far this year when you're leading at halftime. How much of there is there an emphasis on getting out to a quick start tomorrow, or is it kind of just if the game kind of get mucks up in the first half, just finishing strong? But how much is there an emphasis on getting out to a quick start tomorrow night?
Starting ready is very important for our program. I mean, we're a fast-paced team, so we pride ourselves in getting defensive stops and, having a team maybe play with us for one half, but not two. So that's a big emphasis on us, always starting ready and, and just being grateful for the moment and giving everything we got anytime possible.
Another question for Joe?
I'll offer it to you both. Nasir, if you want to take it first. How much does it help you as players to kind of have a repeat from last year where you have a first four, you have a compressed week, you're coming off a conference championship? How much does that experience help you guys get prepared for just kind of a hectic week overall?
Yeah, not a lot of teams get that first four play-in game, so I think that's one of the games that can help us, prepare for the next game. Like I said, we're just gonna play our game. We're just gonna stay focused and stick to our game plan. We got great coaches that are sticking with the game plan, and we as players going to trust the game plan, so that's all we can do.
And just being here before, I think it's a little more comforting that, we did the flight to California last year, and we're still able to play, and, there's a little bit of a shorter flight, and having a lot of people who are experienced in playing in March Madness, so it's not as much nerves, but, more gratitude and just being excited for the moment.
Any other questions? Yes?
I'll go for Nasir again. Just talk about Coach Minetti. She was the first coach last year in NEC history to win an NCAA tournament game. Just what has she meant to y'all and for this program, being from Fairfield, a native of Connecticut? Just speak a little bit about her leadership and her presence.
Yeah, Manetti's a great coach. I can't thank her enough for bringing us in and doing a great job with this program. She's been here 11 years, 12 years. 11 years. Yeah, this will be her 12th year coming up. But I just want to thank her for always, being there for us. She's really like a mom to all of us. She gives that motherly love. And even last year, we kind of had a talk with her like, hey, we need this from you. And she needed certain things from me and Jada as well. So we just all kind of stuck together and had that family group. And I'm just grateful to have Coach Minetti and her great staff along with her to go along with this ride with us.
Yeah, I just want to jump in on that. My gratitude for her is so high, and I know my teammates as well. And not only does she support us on the basketball court, but she supports us in life and in the classroom. And I think that's not understood by a lot of people, having such a supportive coach who that they can go to at any time. So I think we're so successful on the floor because we have someone like her.
Any other questions for the student athletes? One more, Joe?
Wrap up with you, Sajeda. As a team veteran, coming to a town that really loves basketball in Columbia here, can you kind of give us your team scouting report? What can fans look forward to when they watch Sacred Heart play?
Grit, fire. We're passionate about everything we do. We get hype. I mean, we have Nasir Pryor. I mean, if you don't know now, you're going to find out after the next game. So you'll just get a team that loves each other and is very spirited.
Thank you. And now we'll turn over to questions for Coach Minetti. Joe?
Coach, obviously you already mentioned it was a crazy last 48 hours or so. How much have you been able to actually focus on the game versus travel and hotel lodging, and how much have you been able to kind of balance the craziness of the last 48 hours?
The best part of the job is that by the time you get to March, you're so programmed to wake up and just wake up and repeat, that sometimes the lack of sleep and just the hours you put in doesn't really faze you. So I'm very fortunate to have an unbelievable staff. They jumped on this even when we saw who the matchups could potentially be. We had a little bit of a head start being able to clinch in the semifinal. So they jumped on Scout. They did a deep dive into some of our potential opponents, so that the second that our championship ended, we had a little bit of time to celebrate, and then we were at the office until probably 11:30 on Sunday night talking about Scout, and then all day yesterday. So I feel really prepared. I think with a one-day turnaround, both teams have some advantages and disadvantages. I think we're used to a one-day turnaround. Our league plays Thursday, Saturday, and so we're able to have just great turnaround in a one-day prep. And our team's really locked in and focused on scout. I think they really trust and believe in the preparation. You can do the same thing over and over again every year, and if a team doesn't buy into that preparation, they're not going to be able to execute it on the floor. This team really buys in and holds each other accountable in that preparation. So I'm really fortunate to have a great staff that helps us to prepare, and then a great team that is really able to buy in and get excited about that prep.
As Joe mentioned earlier, 15 wins in a row, back-to-back tournament titles. What about your team right now is clicking at the right time going into this tournament?
There are so many great things I could say about our team. It's really funny. I always tell this story. So we love to incentivize our team with ice cream. And when we get 2 wins in a row, we promise them ice cream. And then we got 4 wins in a row. And we're like, all right, get a bigger ice cream. And then 6 wins in a row. Okay, get the largest ice cream. And then 8 wins in a row. They're like, can we get a pint? We're like, sure. We're walking out of these ice cream stores with pints of ice cream. But the big thing they always talked about was, Coach, 10 wins in a row, and we want hibachi. So, you know, they work so hard, and we like to reward our players for such great achievements. And if food is the way they want to be rewarded, great. We'll take it. We do bonus wheels and sprint savers and all sorts of treats. But I think they all knew that once we hit conference and we got a wake-up call against Lemoyne early, that they were like, that's it. We're done with losing. And I think they also really believed, like, this is our year. We returned everybody. We added some great pieces. We were very focused. We wanted 3 banners. We were missing that regular season banner. So that was goal number 1 that we set our sights on. And that was that long-term goal, but in the short term, every day is what we focused on for 40 minutes, every opportunity we had. And once they really kept it present in the moment with being able to be successful reaching these short-term goals, that long-term goal became really incredible. And then it turned into this great win streak. And, you know, once a team starts winning, it's hard to take away that energy, that belief, that confidence, that connection. And so I think that's where we are. We have great team connection. They buy into each other. I don't have to do the accountability piece in practice as much because they're on it before I am with each other. And then they're praising each other just as much when something great is going on too. So I'm very lucky. This has made my job a lot easier this year. A lot of people like to say, Coach, like, congratulations, great job. And I always say, this is all them. This team is special. I told them yesterday, this team is one of the most special teams we've ever had here. This era of Sacred Heart women's basketball is one of the most special we've ever had here historically. And they're breaking the records. This is something with their whole life they can take with them and always be so proud of. So I'm just a proud coach most days.
Joe?
First off, I would love to work for you guys with all the ice cream I'm getting. Second off, I mean, you mentioned returning everyone from last year, basically, having that consistency. Was there anything that you were able to add as a wrinkle from last year to this year, or able to kind of compare and contrast? Very similar storylines postseason-wise, but are able to kind of compare what is different about this team, whether it's X's and O's or just kind of the mentality?
That's a great question. I think this team is very resilient. So last year, we were a little more fragile in the sense that early we were young and inexperienced, and we rocked with a lot of young players and new players. You know, Jada came last year as a transfer, and we had a lot of freshmen. We were very young last year as a transfer. I named Nye captain 4 games in last year. Like when we started, I was like, that's it. We're just gonna rock with these freshmen. So last year we were a little more fragile. We had a lot more peaks and valleys. When we returned this group and they all stayed together and they really, I mean, after we won the championship last year, they turned to me the next day and said, we're running it back. Like, that's how quick they knew they wanted this to be another season of success. All of a sudden, now we have experience. We always say ride the high and survive the low, like, and they do that, and it doesn't cost us a 10-point run anymore. So I think our team's resilience has been really special, and we work on that every day in practice. Like, we'll put them in positions to fail. We put our players' backs against the walls a lot and say, hey, figure it out, find a way. And they do, and I love that response because they do that on the floor. Sometimes a team will go on a run and we'll say, okay, settle down, we're good. And then they go back out, and that's where you see these great, like, answers, starting ready or coming out in the third quarter ready, which is what we love doing. So I've been very lucky to have a more experienced team. Even though we're young, we have a lot of experience that allows us to be more consistent. And I think that piece is probably the most special. Obviously, we have some great new players we've added that bring a lot of energy and personality, and they've just added a lot of value and depth to our group as well. But I think the special piece for us is just the consistency and being able to really stay connected when times are hard. Like, who you are as a team is what you do when times are hard, and I think we've passed those tests.
Kind of going off that as well. I mean, you had a young team last year, bringing everybody back. You were in the same scenario last year. So how much of a benefit is that to have the experience of playing in this tournament last year, going into tomorrow night, knowing that, you know, a lot of the ladies that you had went through this time last year?
It's awesome. You know, we were young last year, and I said to the freshmen and some of the returners, like, do you guys know what you did? What you did is so hard. And they were like, really? That's great, Coach. Like, this was awesome. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't even know how hard this is. Well, we know how hard this is this year. And coming back to this and having this experience is great, and it does give us an advantage. We know what to expect. We know that tournament play is a different animal. Like, even our NEC tournament, that tournament, like, part of your basketball season is a different beast. And so now on a national stage, every team is here for a reason. Every team has done what we've done that has an automatic bid. So we're playing against another league champion who's playing well. They've won 8 out of their last 9 games. They ran through their conference tournament and were very successful. They believe, and they remind me a lot of the position we were in last year. So I love having an opportunity to have this matchup. I think it's a great matchup where it's champion against champion. Let's roll the ball out and see who's the best one at the end.
Joe?
Just to kind of keep going with that conversation about Presbyterian, I know the very limited game film you've been able to kind of watch on them, maybe scouting report-wise. What do you think is going to be the key matchup going into tomorrow night, whether it's a player, a position, an aspect of the game that you feel is going to be something you need to really hit on to find success and advance on Friday?
With us, we try to always keep it focused on what we can control. It's always our pace of play. We want to make sure we control the pace of play as much as possible. And if we can do that, a lot of times we can be successful. So when you talk about starting ready or being up at halftime, like, that's all within the realm of the controlling of the pace of play. You know, and obviously we're targeting some of their better players. Hey, we can, at any time, on any team, we have really talented players, and they can go off, especially in tournament time, right? That's what you tell stories about. So we want to just keep their great players at their averages and hopefully lower if we can. But we're up for the challenge, and we're excited for it.
Just want to ask you to kind of ask the girls this earlier, but I mean, what is Sacred Heart to you from a personal standpoint, being from Fairfield? You're in your 11th year leading this program. As you stated earlier, it's getting better every year. Y'all keep building on success. Just how special is it for you personally to lead this program at this time?
It was a dream when I got the position 11 years ago, and I feel the same way about it today. It's home for me. I grew up here. I have seen Sacred Heart grow to what it is today. It's exploded. It's one of the most beautiful campuses in the country. It has the best people and the best community. I wish you could have seen the energy in our gym on our championship Sunday. It's indescribable. So this is home for me. My mom is with us on the trip. Like, she comes to the games. Our families come to the games. They drive. They bring 15-passenger buses from Maryland with all of our community. I really believe when I took the position over that it takes a village to develop young women. And that's the bigger piece of the program, the holistic aspect that we really pride ourselves on. And I know that you have a coach here that does the exact same thing, right? We all believe in that bigger picture of life that's so important to have our players be prepared for what's going to happen to them down the road and to be strong women. We want to produce strong women who are ready to take on the world. And being able to lead in a place like Sacred Heart, where I have unbelievable leadership that I get to look at right now from this stage and be supported, you can't ask for anything better, because this allows me to have an awesome opportunity to have these young women really buy in and pay it forward at the end of the day, to maybe do it for another little girl, you know, that has that dream. And when I think about it, I get a little emotional, just because when it's home, it's different, it hits different, and I think that's why our culture and our family is so strong here.
Anything else for Coach Minetti or the student athletes from here? I don't see anyone with their hand up on Zoom. So I think, ladies, thank you for joining us. Best of luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
All right. And a reminder, Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com.